Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus the Riven Realms. We're here in Kelianos. We explored Portside. We had a crazy drink at the end of last episode, and we got some... I noticed we got some positive rep with the different pirate crews that are in Kelianos, so that's very funny that I didn't even meet these people yet, and they're like, yeah, that guy's cool. Alright, to Upper Town we go. The Upper Town might be considered influential and distinguished by Kelianos' standards, but it is still more than a few streets running along the cavern walls crowded by dilapidated buildings where craftsmen and traders live. Many more structures are made at least partly of stone than in the lower tiers, and a multitude of lamps burn day and night to provide enough illumination. The most spectacular landmark is Council Hall, its great dominating bulk visible from almost all parts of town. The House of the Black Wyvern? How do I even know what that is? Let's go there. Look at this! It's a dragonborn! The House of the Black Wyvern is a sturdy stone building standing several stories tall, its windows looking out over the cove's dark waters. The sign over the entrance depicts a black coiling winged serpent over a ship sailing on waves. The interior of the building is austere, perhaps even militaristic, with dark iron weapons, maps, and paintings of fortified settlements on display. Once you introduce yourself to the an agent of the house, they fetch the head retainer right away. He joins you in the main hall where you recline on a comfortable sofa. How would a dragonkin sound? Welcome to the House of the Black Wyvern, Vagrus. The dragonkin man greets you with a stiff bow. I am Kragan Varkador. I run this merchant house on behalf of the Cadmador, our trading house. You introduce yourself again and ask Kragan how does that House Cadmador operates inside Imperial territories. Well, the way we see it, Kelianos is not truly an Imperial settlement, he tells you with an apologetic gesture of his hands. Even if some of the Imperials know about it, they turn a blind eye to its existence because it is in the common interest of everyone involved that this place operates undisturbed. I was hoping that you would be interested in taking part in this operation. You assure them that you are intrigued. I am glad to hear that, the head retainer replies, his draconic eyes watching you closely. Not nearly enough Vagri make the long journey here to get here despite the ripeness of opportunities. Consider your enterprise. I will personally be dealing with you if you need anything. You can browse our wares, you can show me what you have for sale, or we can talk about the goings-on of the world. You can also order rarities and luxury items from faraway lands. Our ships can often procure what is otherwise inaccessible. He concludes proudly. So, what'll it be? You consider what you wish to do here. Look at their... What would they like to buy? Oh, we can sell exquisite weapons. Sell a dragon egg. I still don't know where I got that from. Sell them ceruleus crystal, jade, bogweed, dragon bone. Hey, coffee! I still don't have coffee from the coffee house. And I don't know if I ever will, honestly, because they brew coffee rather than grow it. Sell them salt, spice, bright kelp. You can kind of sell them almost anything. That's not true, but a lot of stuff. Let's sell this dragon egg. We got plus 10 Cadmador rep. Sick. Yeah, why don't we sell this exquisite weapon? I know we could be selling the exquisite weapons to I think it's House Darius in Ash. But I'd like to continue to boost the rep I have with House Cadmador here. So that's that. So it's good to know that we can sell... Could we do this only... Oh, yeah. Every 30 days. So if we decide to make the trip out here, I should try to get like a single stack of a bunch of these different things and bring them to them. Oh man, the ceruleus crystal would be a crap ton of money. It's good to know. Okay, I'll try to... I'll take a screenshot of that from the video later, and I'll have like a list of what I should bring to House Cadmador. Let's take a look at their inventory. We already have smuggler's compartments, so we don't have to worry about that. Take a look at the goods in their warehouse. We need to get better rep with them. Hauling litters. I've heard about these. It improves the worker and slave cargo, but reduces your workforce, march speed, movement, and vigor. I like the idea, but I don't want to implement it. Great beacons we already have. We could buy quality tools or medical supplies. Huh. Okay, let's discuss something with the head retainer. Head retainer Kragan Varkador watches you with a keen interest in his emerald gaze. Ask him about the role Cadmador plays here in Kallianos. Kallianos presents Cadmador with a unique opportunity, operating on the very edge of Imperial lands without a tangible risk of being discovered and disposed of. Kragan tells you, and so our sailors from down south found the cove. Our noble leaders decided to establish good relations with the town's inhabitants. It took several years of mutually beneficial dealings to gain a foothold in Kallianos. Needless to say, the Pirate Council did not make things easier. In the end, our diplomats and agents prevailed, and since then we've had a constant presence. You ask him what his presence gets them. We're not here for the fish. That much you must have surely figured out. Kragan's expression could be likened to a grin. No, Vagrus, it is your kind, incidental its appearance might be, that makes our operation worth the effort, along with the opportunity to have dealings with ships from all over the seas. Kallianos is also a way station toward our interest in the north, including parts of the Green Continent. Nodding, you ask the head retainer if he was instrumental in setting up the House of the Black Wyvern. Regrettably no, he says, yet I was picked for the job because of my other invaluable services to Cadmador. It worked out well in the end. None of the pirate captains had any bad blood with me on the account of never having met before my appointment to run the house. I can only hope that you are also satisfied in the way I deal with matters. Ask him about Dragmalak? Oh, that's I was like, I don't even know what that is. My country, Dragmalak, is the land of the Black Dragon Lord, Cro-Magnon, Kragan says with reverence. He is one of the Dragon Lords, but he chose to walk his own path in the age when they came to Zareen. He built his own realm while his brethren created the Dragonlands. I would say Dragmalak is much like the lands of the other Dragon Lords, except that we tend to be more militaristic and strict about matters. It is no wonder, forever have our people had to fight insurmountable odds against the Empire to defend ourselves. It has turned most of us into hardy folk, not without joy, but people who bear their burdens and hardships with pride. You ask the head retainer how he came to be the leader of the house here, so far from his apparently beloved home. I'm what you might call a wandering soul, he says. When it turned out that I can use dragon magic at a young age, I decided to join the Dragon Guard one day, but my other talents, negotiation, public speaking, and logistics, marked out a different path for me, so I traveled to many realms before returning home and joining the house. I'm a dragon mage. My draconic blood allows me to summon and form the flame into spells of protection or destruction, all in service of Cadmador, of course, and after the long years of my service, I was appointed to this position, mostly because of my extensive dealings with other races and cultures. Ask him what is Dragmalak like since you have never been there. Kragan is seemingly taken aback by your inquiry. A land of many diverse regions, he entertains your curiosity nonetheless. We have great mountains in the north where Dargrath, the capital city where the nest of the mighty Cro-Magnon can be found. The Dragon Guard and regiments of black-clad soldiers patrol the great roads to the south and east, past Dracanor, into the Badlands of Kelia, where great mines rich in ore are worked relentlessly so we can outfit our armies. Between there and the sea are the Shadelands, festering swamps, yes, but the source of plentiful wood, peat, and herbs. The arid Badlands are to the southeast, but closer inland are rolling hills and meadows where simple honest folk breed beasts and look after the woods. Of the latter, the Twilight Cloak is a strange, haunted place where only its rangers dare venture. To the southwest, then, one reaches the Downlands, the breadbasket of Dragmalak with its endless fields and orchards. To the port city of Kondar is their center and gate to the Dragon Sea, which is half encircled by the Black Wall Mountains. There, rural settlements give home to herders and mountaineers alike. It is a great and proud realm, Vagrus, where most people work ceaselessly for the betterment of all. A harsh land at times, yes, but also beautiful, like no other. You ask him if he misses his homeland. Some days, yes, Kragan says to you softly, glancing through a window out at the sea. Ask him about his dragon lord, Cro-Magnon. You ask the head retainer about Cro-Magnon, stating that it is difficult to imagine a god made manifest in the realms. Well, dragon lords are not gods, not in the sense that Imperials define gods, Kragan postulates. They do not accept worship. On the contrary, they punish anyone severely for attempting to idolize them so. The dragon cult is built on the notion that everyone has the flame inside them. Everyone has potential, and with great effort and will, anyone can elevate themselves, essentially ascend to be their best selves. Cro-Magonus wants us to be our strongest best selves, that we can all prosper. That said, our Dragon Lord is known to dislike a public appearance. For centuries now, he has secluded himself in his nest, and prefers to lead through his chosen, the champion, the archmage, and the prince. These mortals are his hands, voices, and swords, and if the need arises, their titles are not hereditary, but are instead granted to the best candidate upon the death or retirement of the previous one. You ask Kragan about the reason for the Dragon Lord's seclusion. There are theories, he replies carefully, and us mere mortals can only rely on theories about such things. A god may not be. Cro-Magonus is one of the oldest, mightiest, and noblest creatures in the world. He performed the magical rejuvenating ritual that rekindled the soul of our land, turning a wasteland into a realm rich in resources and life again. This feat alone is unmatched to this day. His brethren could only do the same in the Dragonlands by pooling the might of 7 of them together. So the theory I adhere to most about the reason for our Lord's reticence is that he is recuperating after such tremendous effort. Granted, it was many centuries ago, but such a being as Cro-Magonus must slumber for long to regain his immense power. Ask about the Pirates of the Council. Kragan Varkador considers your question briefly. Our relationship with the Pirate Council is amicable, he clarifies quickly, but I must admit they are a rowdy bunch. We keep our distance, do not get involved in their decisions, and aid them in endeavors that concern the safety of Kelianos when called upon. Otherwise, everyone is free to conduct business as they see fit, as long as it does not harm the other factions' dealings. Most of them are from the North Sea, seas north of Tark, the Copper Coast, or the Misty Coast. They sail to any waters, though. The head retainer looks at you closely. You met them, or so I heard. I haven't met them yet. Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm certain that an experienced negotiator such as you could glean what kind of men they are. One of them, Captain Ursus, is not a member of the council, but a substitute for his fellow captain and friend Vardak. The orc pirate and his fellow buccaneers are known to be fervent abolitionists. They have been a thorn in the side of the Empire for many years now. However, despite their aversions to slavery, they work surprisingly well together with the other pirate lords. As for us, finding common ground with enthusiastic slave liberators was not difficult. As you may well know, servants of the Dragon Lords despise slavery in all its forms, and so the crew of Captains Ursus and Vardak have been our closest allies here. Let us ask about the sect of the Dreamwalker. The emerald eyes of Kragan Varkador narrow considerably upon listening to the abridged version of your tale about the fanatic worshippers of the One Who Hearkens. Dreamwalker, you say, he utters intrigued. I must admit, even though I've come across the name through my dealings with travelers and informants, these vagabonds were always described as harmless fools, presenting danger only to themselves. In the light of what you have shared with me, however, I think Cadmador will have to look into the matter more seriously. I hasten to add that even though my suspicion is now raised, I'm also almost absolutely certain that this sect has not come to Kelianos yet. Nobody has encountered them here, nor are we expecting them anytime soon. As far as we know, they are dirt poor and thus can't afford ship fees. You remind the head retainer that during your dealings with the sect, some of their members were disguised as merchants or other unassuming people. I see, Kragan says. Well, we shall be more vigilant then. Thank you for informing me. Discuss something else. All right, that was enlightening. Let's visit the library? I don't know what the library is. The locals guide you to the great library of Kelianos, an ancient edifice that was carved into the very rock of the mountain at the highest tier of the town. Standing in front of the frontispiece, made up of a large gate arch, some wall statues corroded beyond recognition, and some narrow windows high above the street level, you cannot help but feel that this place is older than anything else in the harbor. Entering, you observe that the interior is not so different from the crumbling exterior. A short entree leads to a great hall. From there, tall arches lead into chambers so vast that you cannot see their ceilings or far walls. The meager illumination of bright kelp braziers and lamps does not help with taking in the eerie grand scope of the library's structure. The stone walls, ceilings, floor, columns, and arches are all well maintained, but are so old that no amount of repairs can hide their wear and tear. You can see in the chambers beyond that the first are wooden and stone shelves stacked with scrolls, books, tomes, and ledgers. It seems that introductions are out of fashion these days, a voice mumbles, and when you turn, you look for its source, your gaze settles upon a man in dull red robes, sitting at a stone desk. It is no wonder that you had not seen him. The piles of books and scrolls on his table hid him entirely from anyone entering. That and the fact that he does not bother looking up from the scroll he is studying. You greet the man and tell him your name. Holy, what is on his head? You can see that his features are horribly disfigured by the taint, and the strange disease has also robbed him of the use of one of his legs. I am the librarian here, he tells you with a hint of mock grandeur. You can call me Ulrich. Wishing to break the ice, you elect to praise the library under his care. This old thing, he says coldly. I suppose it hasn't entirely fallen apart, not yet. And since you're here, why don't you take a look? All the books, you can't take them out of here, but you can read at your heart's content. It's not like anyone will bother you. Nobody comes here, see? But as for you bothering anyone, well, I'll just keep my distance. How about that? Not wishing to listen to the librarian's venom any longer, you tell him that you will take a look around. Do so, quietly, he tells you, and then turns his attention to a leather-bound book on his desk. Peruse the books and scrolls. Sure. Look for something on the sea gods of old. We lost all of our movement. Ulrich points you to various books on the sea gods of old, whose worship is spread across the coastal settlements of the continent. Due to the many variations in religious practices, teachings, and depictions, however, it is very difficult to assess whether or not the gods are facets of a single deity or several ones, or indeed numerous small entities. A common theory in the texts, as well as an explanation of the multitude of sea gods, seems to be that all these deities are actually lesser elder gods, and proxies from the lineage of the elder god called Caton, god of seas, oceans, and waters. They are depicted as working for their progenitor in the governance of sea regions along the coast and in large lakes. Thus, they are contacted by locals when they pray for a bountiful catch or safety from storms. This is then debunked by other writers who attributed this theological proposition to a concentrated effort on behalf of the imperial cult to co-opt these heretical worshippers and dull the edge of religious dissent. Others claim that the sea gods are old enough to be concurrent with the elder gods, or according to some more outlandish texts, even older than them. They are described as having come from outside the creation of Xene, and its pantheon to dwell in the great waters because these conditions drew them. They're elder gods like ours from the stars? Cthulhu's down there? Maybe. A scroll written by a local scholar hundreds of years ago has an interesting account of strife among the sea god worshippers in Kelianos. The last of Cathar's followers are dead, and their folly is thus over. To placate the sea gods, we took the black stone statue out of the great hall, and with great effort hauled it back to the shore. It was not an offering, and they should never have taken it. The man who did the hauling became sick afterwards and fell to a terrible plague that flayed them alive, and turned their blood thick and black. The statue disappeared 2 days later, and the sea calmed down soon after. We might have to sacrifice more of our catch for many months to come, but the gods must be appeased if we are so to remain in their blessed cove. Whatever this sad event was, it appears that Kelianos survived its ramifications in the end. At length, with the hour late, you put the books back on the shelf and return to Ulrich in the main hall. Alright, we will have to come back. Interesting. You only have time to read one text each day. Whichever you pick, the action will take all of your movement. Alright, we'll have to come back and read about the Dreamwalker. I feel like he'd be offended if I ask about the buying books. So let's go visit the council hall. You approach the bulky building of Council Hall and admire the ingenuity of those who used the sizable parts of ships to build the place. Playful but faint music meanders out of the top floors onto the street when you walk up to the gate. 4 guards bar your entry, but once you tell them that you seek an audience with the council with the sentry Raindor's blessing, they step aside. Ulf, take the wanderer to the council. The most senior guard tells you, a young fighter, and then turns back to you. They'll heal you out if your time permits. The guards chuckle, but you pretend not to notice. Young Ulf takes you into the building, up a wide wooden staircase, and along a spacious corridor. As you walk slowly behind him, you take in your surroundings in all their tawdry luster. Paintings, tapestries, goblets, weapons, helmets, bowls, vases, and all manner of other valuables are on display everywhere, without any sense of order or beauty. Certainly, all prizes pried from the dead hands of the pirates' victims over the ages. In some rooms you take a glimpse into as you are passing by. You can see pleasure slaves, while in others, food and drink aplenty from distant lands as it is laid out on tables. At last you arrived at a great door, and a pair of guards in shiny breastplates usher you in while Ulf takes his leave. Stepping inside, you enter a large hall supported by wooden pillars and illuminated by a great iron chandelier. You do not get the feeling that this place is a center of local government, however more so that it is a feast hall where currently festivities are happening. People are eating, laughing, and drinking in clusters, while a minstrel is reciting a bawdy poem with several musicians providing a silly melody to the performance. Once a perfumed majordomo in a caftan announces your presence, however, the music and the recital stop abruptly. 5 washed-up characters emerge from the gaggle of sycophants, taking their places on the 5 tall-backed chairs arranged around the center of the chamber. You take a long look at them. There they are. Oh, this guy's got an eye patch. What if he still has both eyes and he just kind of wanted to look badass? The Leal Majordomo introduces the pirate captains one by one after you bow your head in greeting. Captain Severio of the Cursed Drinker of Cetus. The Majordomo waves a wiry half-elf. Waves toward a wiry half-elf with long braided hair and an eye patch, wearing a cerulean tunic and dark blue cape. The drinker part checks out. Oh wait, one of the captains. I can't, there's gonna be so many voices going on at once. The drinker part checks out. One of the other captains, a tall, broad-shouldered Tarkian with a turban and colorful attire, butts in. His comment elicits a wave of drunken laughter from the sycophants in the room and a dark look from Captain Severio. Captain Baiju of the Toucan, the Majordomo indicates the man who interjected. The Tarkian raises a finger as he adds, Scourge of the Kishan coasts, Bane of princes, and Sultan of the seas, the one with the biggest... Can we move on from this? Another captain, a fat fellow in a coat, impressive bicorn, asks and stifles a yawn. That is Captain... Oh my god. That is Captain... I'm just gonna use my normal voice. That is Captain Erdal of the Red Eye Watcher, a well-built Damahan man wearing beige pants and a leather vest says upon entering the chamber. He takes the last 5th seat on the council. This is Atom, Black Corsair, captain of the Cilia Avik. He continues, pointing to a quiet man clad in black who is eyeing you suspiciously. And I am Captain Ursus of the Ambuscade. I believe it is prudent to enlighten our guest that Captain Ursus is merely a stand-in for Captain Varduk, the true member of the council, Captain Baiju says with a wide grin before the Damahan can say anything. Captain Severio interjects, This again, for the love of... But Captain Ursus just raises his hand to silence everyone and turns to you. And who are you and why are you here? He inquires. You tell the captains who you are and that you are a Vagrus who came here across the mountains. They listen to the summary of your encounter with the sect of the Dreamwalker and how you took it upon yourself to oppose their malevolent plans for the region. When they hear that you were led here by what you overheard, frowns begin to crease their ragged features. This is the first I've heard of such sleepwalkers, Captain Baiju says absent-mindedly. Dreamwalker, Ursus says without looking away from you. I've heard mention of the name, but I know little about it. I don't believe any of us have encountered its followers here. Have you? He looks around, eventually fixing his gaze on Atom. The black-clad captain shakes his head, barely perceptibly, while stroking his goatee. Why do we even entertain the idea that this vagabond tells the truth? Captain Erdal spits out suddenly. Not even a seafarer. A captain of the wasteland, though. That deserves a measure of respect, Baiju tells the council, and they all fall silent. Even their court is quiet, waiting for their response with bated breath. After a while, Ursus clears his throat. Perhaps, he says, we should be better served with more details. Learn about this sect. The lords begin bickering among themselves about a great deal. Who should question you? Who should investigate the matter? Should they even take it seriously at all? How soon can they dine? And much more. At length they begin questioning you about certain details of your journey to here. Focus mostly on everything you have learned about the sect of the One Who Hearkens. You answer them all to the best of your knowledge. The questioning leads nowhere in particular, but in the end you feel that you have enlightened the captains sufficiently. They begrudgingly agree that neither of them nor their crews have encountered the fanatics in Kallianos, nor is it possible for them to have any sort of secret lair here, so they cannot verify what you overheard in Largas. I believe that you will have to look into this rumor yourself if you wish to pursue it any further, Captain Baiju concludes, pursing his lips. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say, even though you have our blessing to sniff around, we believe that you are wasting your time. Nods and grunts from the other captains follow this statement, and some of them begin to fidget in their seats, eager to leave this matter behind. We shall keep an eye on this regardless, Ursus tells you quietly, but all in all, you feel that the council generally dismisses the threat to the cult represents. You are more than welcome to stay in Kallianos as long as you like, of course, Baiju adds. Especially if you bring good business. Just don't blather about us to anyone unworthy of the knowledge, will ya? Though with the, Geist in place, everything is in order, I suppose. His grin and wink tells you that the curse oath is not to be taken seriously. Anything else? Captain Erdal asks with a bored expression. Anything else? You think about what to ask. I guess we're done here? With everything seemingly settled, the council begins rising from their seats. We're adjourned, Ursus says to no one in particular, and then turns to you. Again, welcome to Kallianos. It is unfortunate that we couldn't help you with your sect problem, and your warning is appreciated, and perhaps nothing is afoot? Should you find out anything, come back to us. But remember, this council will only hear you out if you have specific business with us. Farewell. He joins the other captains as they are leaving you, and you are ushered out of the chamber by the major domo. As you are walking down the stairs to exit the council hall, your thoughts are split on what just happened. On the one hand, having not found any signs of the sect of the Dreamwalker, you are quite disappointed, but on the other hand, stumbling across Kallianos with all the opportunities it might present seems to be a great advantage. Time will tell, probably. Soon you are back out on the streets. Huh. Let's check out our... Oh, that's right. We must get the sculpture from Larnak. Let's check out our journal. And where was the... Why can't I see it? Or did we finish it? Was it completed? Oh, sure enough. I guess that's all there was to it. That's really weird. Huh. Okay, well, we finished the Dreamwalker search for Kallianos. I guess all that's left is to, just, like, go back and continue working on the Prince's commissions. Finish the Realm Gate repairs. This is gonna take a lot of work. More ivory and tin. We can work on the outpost a little more. We have to help Tectum Carvos. Build our outpost, sure. Do need to help Skornar find his cousin. We still need to figure out Gorgoro's championship thing. Oh, that we should do this when we go back to the other side of the world. Bring Ren to the unexplored fort. Oh yeah, and we have to turn in the bounty at Devon's office. Okay, interesting. Well, I thought that would lead somewhere, but apparently not. Let's pause the episode there. We'll head back. It's interesting that we don't have any missions available, but I wonder if that's because our faction rep with Cadmador is too low. Yeah, we're actually below a 0. So we need to bring them resources to sell, or just, yeah, probably just sell, in order to push that above 0, I assume, in order to be able to do jobs for them. Oh, they don't like the Chimera Legion, and they don't like the Church of Oscuol, but they like the Church of Sergorod the least. So I wonder if I do stuff for Church of Sergorod, Ah, that must be it. Is when we do stuff for Sergorod, it pushes Cadmador down, and if we do stuff for Cadmador, it will push Sergorod down. Honestly, that's okay. I'm not like super into like doing anything for the Church of Sergorod, so I'm fine with that. We have 19 days before the astrolabe is fully charged, so I think what we'll do is leave the city, hit Ahar Kada, and then head to Kabur. And then maybe we can head to the Stone Gate and head through to the other side. But for now, let's pause the episode. If you guys enjoyed, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus, the Riven Realms, or the other videos going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!